Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Mood616 here, and I'm back with another episode. This is going to be episode 2 of the Best of the Blind Buys. Now, if you didn't watch the first one, this is just a new series that I started, and it's basically just showcasing some films that I really didn't know anything about when I purchased, and they turned out to be really good, so hence the Blind Buys. Yeah, so we might as well get right into it. First up, I got a film here released by Synapse Films. I'd always seen the cover art around, but the price was always high on this. I could never, it would never come down. So one day I just said, fuck it, I'm going to pick it up because I really like Synapse releases, and it was a slasher film that I didn't have, and I'd heard, really nothing about this film, so going in blind, and I was really stoked because it had awesome cover art. And it's called Frat Massacre. Like I said, released by Synapse Films. Ooh, I just cracked my neck. Released by Synapse Films. And apparently this one is actually based on a true story. It says, inspired by actual events and set in the year 1979, Frat House Massacre is a disturbing journey through the secret world of fraternity boys, pledges, and the not-so-innocent sorority sisters swept up in the madness. Yeah, so this is basically, a sorority house type slasher film, obviously, Frat House Massacre. It's about these two brothers. The one older brother, he goes to pledge. I'm not sure exactly what the fraternity is. It doesn't really matter. But anyways, in their hazing, in their initiation rituals and stuff, something goes wrong, and the head of the fraternity basically ends up killing this kid's older brother. He doesn't really know exactly what happened, but he figures something happened. Anyways, he ends up going to the school and to join this fucking fraternity also later. I think it's like a year or two later, something like that. Well, the fraternity, they do not know that, the person that they killed, that, the person pledging is the younger brother of, the guy that they killed. They have no idea. So in a way, it's kind of like a revenge film. This one is really interesting because it is basically kind of like two films. The first half of the film is about the older brother, and then some shit happens, and the second half is about his younger brother, and, the path of destruction that ensues after, the death of his older brother. It's a very, very interesting film. I really enjoyed this one. The ending is just fucked. This one kind of gets out of control. There's some twists and turns in it. It's very enjoyable. I really enjoyed this one. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, I believe this one is actually, it's really long. It runs almost 2 hours. It's 160 minutes. It does seem to go by pretty quick, though. Like I said, because it feels like it's almost like two different movies. But yeah, I would recommend this one. I don't know if the price has gone down on it. I think I ended up paying about $13 for this DVD, which is pretty expensive for a fucking DVD, But like I said, though, Synapse does a good job with these. It's got a little bit of special features on it. It's got a commentary on here and some deleted scenes, and a featurette, the making of the Frat House Massacre, so that's pretty cool. But I do recommend this one. Frat House Massacre is very fun. Next up is a film that I purchased solely because it was put out by Anchor Bay. And I really liked the cover, and I thought it had a pretty interesting premise. I read the back on this one. And it is a film called End of the Line. Basically, what caught my attention on this one was, the cover I thought was pretty cool. It does have a really cool slipcover. I have it somewhere around here. But it was the fact that it takes place in a subway. And I thought that was a really interesting location for a film because there's not a whole lot of subway-type, underground-type films like that. But this one's pretty cool. It's about, these everyday people or whatever. They're in the subway. And there's this crazy cult that is destined to, end the world. And by doing so, they want to take out people like sinners and shit like that. And yeah, so it's basically these people trying to escape these fucking crazy-ass cult members and shit. And shit goes down. Very enjoyable. Very, very enjoyable film. I thought it was actually quite tense at times. And it's a film I want to revisit this one. I should watch this one again. I haven't watched it in a while, but I fucking loved this movie. I thought it was excellent. And it's a movie that I never see talked about much at all. I never see anyone show this one or talk about it. I've never even seen this one reviewed or anything, so... very, very cool. I thought the setting was just brilliant. A brilliant place to have, you know, this type of storyline and stuff. But end of the line, highly recommend this one. Very cool film. Next up is like a fucking horror comedy kind of deal. This one I solely purchased on the name alone because it had blood in the title. I'm really bad for that. Everyone knows I always pick up movies that have massacre and blood and bloody and anything in the title I'll pick up. And I'd really never heard anything about this film and its Blood Car. This one is basically about this guy that's trying to he's trying to design an engine that runs off like wheatgrass, you know, so he doesn't have to pay these high gas prices and shit. Anyways, he's in his like little fucking you know, in his little area in his room or whatever, and he's building this thing, and he has a little bit of an accident. He cuts his finger, or he cuts his arm or whatever on some equipment in there. Anyways, some blood from him gets into this, you know, into this wheatgrass mixture, and all of a sudden his engine starts to work, and he's like, fuck, okay, so now he needs to kill, or he needs to get blood to run this, his car, to run his engine in his car. So he starts out, and he starts taking out animals, and it's pretty, it's comical, but at the same time, you're like, dude, really? But then it kind of leads into, like, you know, he's got to take out people and shit. And he has this relationship with this girl that sells him the wheatgrass. She's actually the girl from My Girl. I don't know what her name is. I can't remember. Katie Rowlett or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, she's the girl from My Girl, if you remember that movie. That's what I always remember from. But this one kind of gets out of control. There's all these, like, subplots and shit. And it's just ridiculous fun, man. Ridiculous fun. I had such a fun time with this movie. It had me laughing through the whole thing. And it's just because it's so different. Like, all of a sudden he starts being pursued by these fucking FBI agents that are out to get him. It's fucking hilarious, man. I thought it was so funny. I do recommend this. If you're not into horror comedies, I'd stay away from this. But this one I thought was really well done. It's just, I mean, if you're going to get me going like that, it's definitely worth the watch. So, Blood Car. Next up is a movie that I purchased because I think I was buying, at the time, I think I was buying my August Underground films. I was on Toe-Tag's website, and I came across an ad for this, but anyways, I ended up buying this movie straight from the actual website, so it was a little more, I think, on the website, but I like buying independent films right from the website, so the money goes right to them. I like to support it. So anyways, I basically purchased this because it was limited to 1,000. I'm kind of a sucker for that. And, yeah, anyways, it's a movie called Big Junior. Now, this most necessarily isn't a horror film. It's more of like I guess it kind of has horror elements to it and stuff, but maybe like an exploitation. I don't know. I don't really know how to classify this one. But anyways, the premise of this film is it takes place. The setting is all in like a hotel room, and it only has 4 characters in it. And it's about this dude right here. He's a drug dealer, and this guy shows up to buy some shit off him, whatever. But anyways, he has to take off. He has to take off to fucking go and get the drugs, whatever. And he's got this bitch with him. Anyways, he leaves her there, kind of as collateral that he's going to come back or whatever, and shit like that. And then shit just starts going down. The whole movie takes place in this hotel room, and there's some really, really rancid scenes in this with like shit and piss and puke. It's really fucking nasty, but very, very enjoyable film. Like I was just amazed at like how low budget this movie was and how well it turned out. I thought it was really good. I mean, if you're not into this type of thing, I'd probably stay away from this one, but I honestly think this one's still available. I don't even think it's out of print yet or sold out or whatever. But I would give this one a try. I just thought it was really well done. The acting it's decent for what it is, and it was really enjoyable. It's just, I don't really want to say too much about it if you're actually, intrigued or enough to actually go and buy this or whatever, but Big Junior, I'd give it a shot, man. It was just different. It's cool. And next up is a film that was recommended to me, but I knew nothing about. It was recommended to me by OD666, and of course I was interested right away because it was a Trauma release, and everybody knows that I'm a fucking huge Trauma fan, so And I read the synopsis before I picked it up, and I was like, yeah, that sounds right up my alley. And it's called Blood Junkie. This is basically like a throwback film to like 80s kind of, slasher films and stuff. And, it's got a pretty typical storyline. It's about some, people going out to the woods to camp and shit like that, and then they come across some fucking, some dude in the woods that is a blood junkie, let's just say. But, shot really well. Like, it has that real 80s vibe to it. The kills are good in this one. I don't know, it just has a really cool fucking overall feel to this, and it's highly enjoyable. I've watched this movie lots and lots of times. I think I put this on my go-to horror films, actually. And so I've talked about this one before, but, just for the people out there that have never seen me talk about this one, definitely give Blood Junkie a try. Even if you're not a trauma fan, I would highly recommend this if you really like 80s slashers and stuff. This is a really, really cool release. It's a short movie. It runs only about 72 minutes, so it's over quick. This one came out in 2010, so it's a couple years old now. This is actually another movie that I bought straight from the website, too, because I have Blood Junkie cards, things all over my fucking wall. But anyways, what can I say about Blood Junkie? It's just very enjoyable, man. I had a lot of fucking fun with this movie. I love these 80s type throwback films. If you like stuff like The Sleeper and I don't know what other type of 80s throwback slashers, but this one's a little lower budget, but it's fucking worth it, man. It's a great film. So yeah, to round out these, of course, that was Blood Junkie. Big Junior, another low budget gem that I found. Awesome shit. Of course, the horror comedy Blood Car. This one is, I honestly really enjoyed it. It was fun. The crazy fucking weird ass film End of the Line, cult, end of the world type shit. Very cool. And Frat House Massacre, released by Synapse Films. Give this one a shot. It's a very, very cool film. Don't let the running time fool you. It's really well done. And the end is fun. So, anyways, that's going to do it for another episode of The Best of the Blind Buys. This is episode 2, so I will be back with one whenever I just get an opportunity to film one. And I guess I'll have to pick out some other films, so anyways, thanks for watching and subscribe. Leave comments if you've seen any of these or if you just have any thoughts. Peace out.